We are. Can you guys hear that when that voice comes across now? It's a new thing in Zoom. This meeting is being recorded. First time I heard it, I probably jumped 3 feet. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Cathy Davis, Davis Creative Publishing Partners. Today we'll be speaking with Ned Lips, self-published author of 5 well-received novels. And today we're going to be talking about the ridiculously long and expensive road to profitability. But before we start, I wanted to do some few logistical details. The call is being recorded. We all heard that earlier. You'll receive a link to the YouTube video, usually by the end of the day on Friday, tomorrow. Please mute yourself on your end if you've not done so already. And find your chat button down at the bottom of your screen. So if you have questions, please drop those into the chat box and we'll make sure we get those answered. And we promise to end the call today shortly around noon or shortly thereafter, so we can all get back to our daily business. Our theme for 2021 continues to be inspiring authors. Each month we welcome guests who are either an inspiring author or someone who helps to inspire authors by sharing knowledge, new ideas, opportunities, and wisdom. So help me welcome Ned, author of the Reset series, Freed, and his newest book, Loretta, due out in September. Ned writes in the genre of magical realism and prefers female heroines. All of his books have strong spiritual, though not religious, aspects to them. Ned believes it's never too late to follow your dreams, and in 2016, at the age of 56, he did just that. He dedicated himself to the craft of novel writing, which is quite different, he learned, from storytelling. A recovering attorney, I think that's hilarious, yes. Sales leader and real estate investor, Ned's lifelong first love has been writing. His patient wife, Barbara, allows him to pursue the passion, and he's very grateful for that. A bit of a life philosopher, his theories, thoughts, and things can be found on his YouTube channel, Ned Lips Author. Welcome, Ned.
Thank you for having me.
We have crossed paths for many years, and I'm glad to finally round you up and get you to where we can have a long conversation. Tell me a little bit, why did you decide to leave, or maybe what prompted you to leave your career in corporate America and become a full-time writer?
Well, part of it was opportunity, and part of it was inopportunity. I found myself out of a job because a parent company of the company I was working for decided to sell the part of the company that I worked for, and a whole bunch of people were let go. Everybody on the development sales side. We weren't going to open any more stores while the sales process was happening. So they figured, let's just get rid of everybody. So that put me at a crossroads. Well, what do I do now? And so that was sort of the opportunity. I moved back home from Chicago, looked a little bit for a more traditional job, wasn't really able to find one. It's hard to get a job when you're 56, 57 years old and they're looking for young puppies who right out of school that they can train. So I decided I wanted to start writing. I don't think at that moment I had made the decision that this was going to be something I was really going to dedicate sort of my professional time to until sometime later. And I think maybe that was when I published Reset in 2018, and people really liked it. And I was like, well, maybe I don't suck at this.
So what you're saying is that your very first book out, you had a good response to.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I've had lots and lots of people. People continue to buy it, but more and more people now are buying First Steps and the Entwined. So this is Reset, just so you can see it backwards, I think.
No, we can read it.
Right. Okay, there you go. It looks backwards on my screen. And then, so then I wrote the prequel, which is called First Steps, which is, the whole thing is Sarah's journey from a battered, brutalized wife who escapes that in this book to a hero in a world where everything man-made has been taken from the face of the earth, and it's pure nature. And that turns out to be the perfect environment for Sarah, who's a naturalist to survivalist sort of person. And it's about her transition from being really internal because she's protecting herself, protecting her daughters, to learning to embrace the rest of the family, which is 100 and something other people who survived in the area where she is. And, needing to lead them and protect them and teach them, all, none of whom, of course, knows anything about surviving, or at least not enough about surviving. And so she's got to decide she actually cares about all of these people, and and I did a lot of research with women who had been in these brutal relationships. A lot of them read First Steps in Reset and told me, this is really authentic, or you need to fix this. I never publish a book without at least a few people who can relate to the book, having read it and told me,
Mhm.
what they think and what's wrong with it, whatever. So that really inspired me, I guess, this idea of women having an opportunity to escape. I knew most of the women that I knew, while they had gotten out, they weren't safe. The guy's still somewhere. So
Mhm.
it was kind of fun to transition to a world that he couldn't follow her into. And it was her world where she has certain natural powers and strengths that uh, would make her the strong, powerful person, though she has to learn that she is and that she can be. So that's what these books, the first four, the Reset series, which is followed with Entwined and then Parasite at the end, um, were about. And so it's about what inspires you. So if you don't mind, my last book is Freed, and Freed was
So
inspired by
if I could just ask a quick question, is Sarah a common character in each book?
everything but this. This is a separate book. This book follows the Sarah and the family through their adventures in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Parasite is the last of the books, and well, except that people keep saying you have to write more. So there's some ideas coalescing in my head about maybe a next book, but Parasite really does resolve. So it resolves all the stuff. It answers all the questions that are left open as you go through the books and stuff. So whatever's new is going to be new. It may still have Sarah and the family, but because people who've read all the books say, I don't want to let them go, right?
Yeah.
So, which is really heartwarming for me that people get that vested in my characters. Um, Freed was inspired by a couple of articles I read. One was about a guy who had passed away, withered away after his wife of like, I don't know, 50 years had passed away. And he left, he had grandchildren and children and all these people, folks from his family. And I thought, would the wife really have wanted that to happen, to have him wither away because she died? And then I read another article about a prostitute who was found dead in her apartment, and she had all of these really high-end treatises and stuff, and some really cool notebooks with some really interesting ideas. And the story was really about how she had run away from a brutal past at 14 and run to Vegas, where she became a prostitute and was stuck in that profession for the rest of her life. And this brilliant, really bright mind was lost to us in this because she could never get out. She could never get an education. She could never transition. So anyway, it was an interesting little article. So that's what Reset is about. The ghost of the wife. I'm sorry, Freed is the ghost of the wife getting and saving both of these people. So that's kind of
Yeah.
that.
Well, so
So
that's a great synopsis of the lineage that you have. How did you decide to, or what made you decide to go into the self-publishing or author as publisher arena versus seeking out a traditional publisher?
So I did a lot of research into this. I reached out to a lot of agents. I actually spoke to several agents. I spoke to several publishers. We have book meet opportunities to meet with folks. And what I was told pretty much universally was that unless your name is Grisham or somebody famous, they can't afford to take on brand new authors. Every once in a while, if you've got connections, people will get that opportunity. But then I was told also that they don't really do very much for you. It's a lot easier in the nonfiction world because a nonfiction book is often more a business card for the job that you do, the services that you render, or whatever that is. And so it tells people about that. In this world, you have to get that break, the break that an actor gets, or that a, you know, baseball player or a million other people who do things kind of get. And it is a next sort of step for me now that I've gotten more established, have an established Facebook presence and, social media presence and that kind of thing, to look at seeing if someone would be interested in picking me up for future books. The other thing I know that traditional publishers are looking for with regard to novelists is being prolific. That
Not just a one-hit wonder, huh?
yeah, they want to know that they're going to that you're going to be a John Grisham, that you're going to produce book after one every year. You're going to be a Clancy. You're going to be King. You're going to be one of these people that produces books with regularity that they can then sell, because each book only has a certain shelf life before unless it gets turned into a movie, which can happen. But even then, there's a timeline at which that everybody's ever going to read it.
Mhm.
has So every book has a finite life, and they want to know. So it was important for me to do the Reset series, but it was also important to me to do books not in the Reset series. So I didn't appear to be, well, all he can do is write in this one
All
genre.
about Sarah. Yeah.
Right. So that was important, and to have people like Freed, and hopefully they'll love Loretta when it comes out. And so that's why I didn't, not that I didn't, I sent query letters out to agents. I sent query letters to publishing houses, dozens of them.
Mhm.
And 90% of the time I got no response at all. And
Now,
so
have you done all of your own marketing?
I've done all of my own marketing. I've hired people to help me. I worked with small business owners in a past career, and I always told them, you are best in the world at what it is that you do. You are not best in the world at these other things you need. You shouldn't do your taxes. Someone else should do them. You shouldn't do your marketing unless you're a marketing person. I mean, if your business is marketing, fine. But if it's not, you make, say, $200 an hour doing what you're best in the world at. You could pay somebody $40 an hour to do the stuff you're not any good at. If you do it, it's costing you $160 an hour because you're not doing the stuff that you could do, make $200 an hour. So I take that to heart. I taught it to other people. I may as well take it to heart. So
Mhm.
um, Above the Dogs is my social media, and Alana Trepler is my person there who helps me, and she's been great. And I have gone through several different people who um,
Didn't
didn't
quite
live up
pan
to.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that process is a pain, but I feel really good where I am now, and I'm really excited about where I am now, and books are selling, so that's good.
What would you say was the most successful marketing thing that you did that created the most attention and sold the most books?
What's interesting is when you write a series, you have a bit of an advantage. Um, I give away. So right now on Facebook on a regular basis, I will, when somebody's birthday pops up, I'll ask them if they would like to have a free book from me. I need audience, right? I need people to have read my books and say, oh my God, he's amazing. what happens then is they read Reset or whatever book they've picked, and they go back to my website or back to Amazon and they buy the other ones. So just, Tuesday, I mailed out 24 books and most of those were books purchased by somebody who I'd given one of the books to first. So they'd read my book. They don't know me from Adam. So
Mhm.
I need them. And then I encourage them to loan it to their mom and loan it to their, because I need people to have heard of me. So to me, that's one of the nice things about having 5 books is that I have a book I can get, there's 4 other books they can buy once they buy my
Right.
one. So I just sold 10 books to a book club, 10 Reset books to a book club. They're all going to read my book as a book club. That came because one of the people in the book club got one of my books for free, loved it, and said, we have to read this, and sort of suggested it
Right.
and had the book club read the book. So
And
that to me is work best.
yeah, that's a question that I get a lot, is how to step into that book club arena. Was that just by chance that someone that bought your book also was a member of a book club?
I do try and target it, but that's so hard. Nobody runs around advertising that they're in a book club.
Mm.
But so women are my primary audience. 90% of book club members that read novels tend to be women in book clubs. So I guess because and quite honestly, men just don't read at the same level that women do. That's statistically shown by, I don't know, whoever the heck it is that looks
Mhm.
at that stuff. And so I market primarily to women, and that's worked out. That's worked out really well. And so there's another book club that's looking at adding my book down in Springfield and one here in St. Louis. So,
I know one thing I have learned is that when you find one person that's in a book club, sometimes they're in more than one book
right,
club, and you create a ripple factor with
right.
that. Yeah. Have you tried the like the markets, the open air markets, or have you had any luck with um, craft fairs or things like that?
Yeah, I love book fairs. Uh, we went to quite a few in 2019, and all I had was Reset. I had one book.
Mhm.
So, my wife and I went down to Florida, and that was fun. We had a great time, but we spent, 2 days at the book club. We sold 40 books, I bet.
Mm.
And so, I've done that. Then of course, 2020, all of them were wiped out. I was signed up for a bunch of them, but they were all, I got my money back and they didn't happen. So, it's expensive because you've got to not only sign up and pay to go to the book fair, but um, you have to fly there and you have to stay, but that's just part of the marketing budget. You kind
And
of
where
the
do you
idea of
find
this
out?
whole
Yeah, where do you find out about these book fairs?
there's a number of online sites. I literally Google book fairs, and
Mhm.
there's a couple of places that will compile. I have them bookmarked now, but they will compile book fairs. I could get them, but I'm not 100% sure I can. Oh, this will mess things up. I don't know. Can you still see me and everything?
We can still see you.
Okay, because I was just going to pull up and see if I can figure out. Um, so there's American Book Fest that has several um, book events. There's a bunch of them there's a number of different things that, and there's one called, just if you just look up book fairs, literary festivals, that's a site that has um, book fairs listed all around. And so I got those just by searching book fairs. And
Mhm.
you know I've
We've
gone
got
to some festivals that are not necessarily book focused, and those haven't been as good because people, I think, are there for cute little arts and crafts they want to hang on their walls. you know
I know couple other marketing questions. Somebody asked, have you tried virtual book signings since COVID or during the quarantine?
No, I didn't. I didn't really think of that. And I'm not sure how that would work. But I'm 61 and I don't know how a lot of stuff online works.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
then,
I hired a 43-year-old to do it.
and then let me check these. I know we've had a couple questions here. So someone's asking, they're trying to understand your logistics. If a book club orders 20 books, do you have those on hand, or do you order author copies from Amazon and send them out?
I have 50 copies of all of my books on hand pretty much all the time.
Mhm.
And so then I will fulfill those from my stash. And when I get down to something like 10 of one, I'll order 50 more.
Yeah.
And that's worked out really well. I've never run out. I got down to 2 reset books the other day, and then my next 50 books showed up and the 2 went out, but I had more. So,
And then are you charging tax on those? So you're keeping track of your tax, sales tax?
yeah, it's in the calculation. I charge a flat fee, but I have the sales
Got it
tax
calculated in there. Okay.
theoretically.
Yeah. I know one of the other ways that I've
You can figure
seen
that out.
that you can do this, Pat, is to you can place orders through Amazon and have them direct shipped. And if you mark it as a gift, they don't get the receipt. So you can charge your buyer whatever price it is that you want to, and then order it through the back end of your Amazon account so that you're only paying your at cost price, but have it shipped to the buyer as a gift, and they don't get the receipt. And that way you're still they're paying you, but then you're shipping it to them.
Now, I like people who buy directly from me and not from Amazon want the signed book. So that's why I do it that way.
That's a
So
big
I'll put
benefit to
personal,
that. Yeah.
and I charge more. So it's
Mhm.
I think they're $12.99 on Amazon. I charge $16. So, and people
Well,
pay
you've
it.
got to put it in an envelope, take it to the post office, all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's worked out for me, and I sell significantly more directly from me than
Mm-hmm.
I do um, through Amazon. Though I do sell a fair number of Kindles, because obviously I can't sell the Kindles.
That was one of my questions. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Whether
two of
you
the
sell as many ebooks as you do paper.
no, not even close. Way more paperbacks. I'm surprised about that. I've done advertising for Kindle, blah blah blah. And what's funny is I did an advertising through, did one of those ad things through Amazon for Kindle. I still sold at least a 4-to-1 ratio of paperbacks to Kindles.
Yeah.
People like to
A lot
hold
of readers like, diehard readers like paper. Yeah.
yeah, they like to hold it in their hands. I do. So, I get it.
Yeah. Someone's
So
asking if you could provide a list of the literary fairs that you liked or that you've been to. If you like, I could get with you after this meeting and we could maybe put together when we're not online, put together a short list. And then
yeah,
someone also mentioned that Edwardsville is going to have a book fair in September.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to know about that because that's a good location.
Yeah.
I have, so when Loretta comes out in September or late August, we are planning, Atlanta and I are planning a tour. So what's nice is I have the list of now all these people that have gotten books for free or bought books from me, and I have all their information. That's a nice thing about selling it directly, is that you
Right.
get all their information.
You're building that list. Yeah.
Right. And so I've begun to reach out to some of them and say, hey, I'm looking at doing a book tour, and I'm going to be coming to Davenport, Iowa. Would you be willing to kind of help me sort of host it and be the person that leads the charge out in Davenport for me? And people have been really responsive in a positive way to that.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
One of the other questions we have is, Publishers are quite often interested in your numbers, your sales. And so how are you tracking your personal sales to individual readers versus Amazon sales? We know we can go into the back end of Amazon and figure out how many books we've sold.
Right.
Um,
But every book that I sell through mine, I have in a spreadsheet. So I literally have everybody's name, email if I get it, which I ask for, but don't always get, and that's okay. And their address, their actual physical address. So I know, like, obviously I have to mail the book to somebody, but that gives me these 12 people all live in Kansas City. So if I have an event in Kansas City, I want to reach out to them and make sure they come and bring friends and family and whatever.
right. Great. So is there anything that you're doing now to grow your business that, I mean, I know you mentioned your upcoming road trips, but is there anything specifically that you're putting a lot of effort into to help grow your business as an author?
Primarily right now, as we're coming out of COVID and we don't have book shows to go to and what have you, it's mostly um, the birthday thing and giving away books. And then I do a lot of, we have, we do a thing called theories, thoughts, and things. And it's a little videos that I do, little short videos on my thoughts on the world, whatever, spiritualism and life and whatever. So we put those out. People follow that and they like that. It's on my YouTube page. And we regularly, if I get when I get positive reviews, I'll post those up on Facebook. And I have a Facebook page, I have a Facebook group. And then of course I have 5,000 followers on my regular own profile. So constantly pushing, sort of just different, not down their throat stuff, but kind of different ways to see me as a person that they might be interested in reading a book by. So hopefully, so a lot of that, and not just that's LinkedIn. I have 3,200 followers on LinkedIn and Twitter, and
So you're not just focused on Facebook, you've spread
yeah,
yourself out. Yeah.
right. And honestly, AJ Alana Trepler handles that for me. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, honestly, I do not understand Instagram. I've just never really quite got it figured out. But she takes care of that for me, and then she tells me I know what's being published when, and so I'll go into Instagram and I'll do something to push it there. And I do what she tells me to do, and that seems to work. So
That's awesome.
we partner with people. We're partnering with a woman who makes book covers, who makes those like book cozies. They're just
Uh-huh.
um, and we're going to do a little, she's really big in Instagram, and so we're going to do a little co-promotion with her. um,
That's a great
if you think
idea.
of yeah, people that that are doing something related to what you're doing. We early on worked with a singer, and she read my books, liked them, and so we actually went to her thing. And so different ways that you reach out, other artists, other events and things that are going on.
So
Be
you're finding
creative.
great ways to create connection.
Yeah,
Not trying to sell the book as much as you are just creating connections.
right. And I think the most important thing is that you want the excitement around the book to come from somebody who has no vested interest in your book.
Right.
Right. So whoever it is going to say, you got to come and read it. You listen to this person, blah, 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 because he's wonderful. And it isn't me saying that. So
Exactly.
that's third party um, reviews and positive attitude about you is invaluable.
That's awesome. So I understand you have a gift for our audience members today. Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about that.
Well, again, one of my things is to give people a book if they'd like one. And so um, if they would like, actually, they can pick any of the books that we have and that I have. Just go to, and should I give the
Well,
website?
we'll put it in. We'll have a follow-up email tomorrow
Right.
that has the link to the video as well as any information you want us to put in there.
Sure, perfect, and that'll be great. That's what I figured it'd be a lot easier. They're not going to remember or write it all down. So Perfect. Excellent. And then we'll just give everybody an opportunity to get a book.
Yeah.
And it'll be signed by me.
Terrific. So are there any last parting words of wisdom? As I mean, because you've kind of had a quick rise to fame and been at this 5 years, and you have quite a lineage of books there, and you're getting well known as well. Well, if Ned wrote it, I'm going to read it. Someone told me that the other day. One of our other authors saw that you were on, and they said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe Ned's on your, going to be on your Lunch and Learn. I bought his books for my aunt or something, and they were just raving that, well, if Ned writes another one and she wants it, I'm getting it for her." Yeah.
And that's the nice thing, that is happening. And that's the key. But so just my only piece of advice is figure out how to get your book into as many human beings as you possibly can. And if that's free, it's free, right? Because people tell people, and people loan their books, and then those people want to buy the next book. And I think be prolific. It's expensive. Be prepared. Do this because you absolutely freaking love to do it, right? And I do it because I love to do it. I write all the time. I've got 5 books besides Loretta in some stage of development. And those will come out. It takes a long time. Do everything you do truly professionally. So I have Karen Tucker of Comic Queen is my editor, and she's outstanding. And my books come out perfect, and I don't have, virtually no typos. And I use
Yeah, she's
Jamie
great.
Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Jamie Wyatt as my book designer, so the books look professional all the way
Well, and
through.
they look like they're a set, and that's important. Yeah.
And do that, because nothing worse than somebody picks up your book and on the first page there's 3 typos, and that's literally the last page they'll read in your book and put it down. So highly recommend, just do it with quality. It'll cost you a lot more money, but it's the only way that someone will actually read your book. And people say, well, I know how to proofread and I was an English major. You cannot proofread.
I know. Yeah.
You can't. It's a psychological thing. You can't legitimately proofread your own stuff or edit it either. But
Yeah.
because it all seems wonderful to you. You didn't write it stupid to start with.
Right.
But your editor will tell you, this is stupid. What do you do?
Yeah, and you've got a great team. Alana, I don't know if you remember, you and I first met through Missouri Venture Forum.
Right.
When you were doing the video out there. So you've got a great team working for you there. So are there any last minute questions? I don't see any additional ones coming in. I do want to let everybody know, one, I want to thank you, Ned, for being here today.
Sure.
And all of our guests for inviting us. As I mentioned earlier, the video link will go out sometime tomorrow. And mark your calendar for next month, the second Thursday, no, wait, July, we're skipping July. I'm going to be at a conference that week. So we just decided July is kind of slow anyway and hot. So you get the chance to do something else on your second Thursday in July. But in August, we're having one of our editors / proofreader writing coaches, Kay Yules. Some of you on this call know Kay really well, if you've been involved with us in any other books. And we're going to be talking about memoirs and getting your head straight and not listening to the voices in your head as much, right? Or which voices to listen to, I think is part of that too. And that'll be the second Thursday in August. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Ned. We'll send out your links. Ned, if there's any specific links you want, just email me after this and make sure I have those, and we'll get those included. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate you, all of you, and we'll see you in August. Thank you, Ned, so much.
Thank you very much for having me. You have a great day.
Quite valuable information. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.